2003! That's crazy! I can't believe it! That's so crazy. Welcome back to Every Disney Movie Ever. My name is Jess and I'm watching Every Disney Movie Ever. Today, I'm going to talk about The Jungle Book 2. The Jungle Book 2 is a 2003 animated theatrical release. It's directed by Steve Trenbirth, supervising animation done by Simon Ashton, Kelly Baigent, and Kevin Peaty, editing done by Christopher Kagi and Peter Lonsdale, music by Steve Harwell and Joel McNeely, and it's written by Karl Geurs. The film stars Haley Joel Osment as Mowgli, John Goodman as Baloo, Mae Whitman as Shanti, Connor Funk as Ranjan, Bob Joles as Bagheera, Tony Jay as Shere Khan, and Jim Cummings as Kaa, Colonel Hathi, and MC Monkey. This was originally planned as a direct-to-video sequel, but then they decided to make it a theatrical release, much like Return to Neverland. In the 90s, they did have a sequel planned where there was a sequel written where Baloo was going to save a romantic interest from a poacher, but that was obviously dismissed. They went in a different direction. John Goodman recorded his dialogue in, I believe, New Orleans, while Haley Joel Osment recorded in California. King Louis is not in the movie due to a dispute with Louis Prima's estate because he has passed since the first movie. So they couldn't include King Louis because that's, part of Louis Prima's image and everything, and there's a big deal once people die, they have estates and all that kind of stuff. So King Louis appears briefly in the puppet show at the beginning and is briefly mentioned and then is not back. That's why MC Monkey was the monkey at the little monkey place, monkey palace, I guess. And then there was a planned third movie where Mowgli was gonna save Baloo and Shere Khan from, I think, like poachers or someone. And that led to like Shere Khan reforming, and it was like, that kind of story, and it never happened, which I would love to see the story where Shere Khan reforms. This one is fine, but I would have loved to have seen Shere Khan like come to the good side. I would have loved that. And then it has like a 19% on Rotten Tomatoes. Had a $20 million budget, but it made $135.7 million from the box office, which is actually very decent. I totally, after watching Cinderella 2 and Hunchback 2, I expected the animation for this to be really bad, but then I remembered it's a theatrical release, much like Return to Neverland, which had a little bit better animation. So the animation in this was actually quite beautiful. There were multiple moments where I could see the inspiration from the first one, but then also like some of the watercolors and lighting were just very beautiful. I don't think it's, as pretty as some of their other like first original theatrical releases, but it was very stunning animation for a movie that like was supposed to be direct-to-video and then got up to theatrical. I thought the animation was quite stunning, especially coming off of Hunchback 2. Probably about 44 minutes in, I started to be kind of bored. I was kind of like, okay, I'm ready for things to progress, because for a while it was Shanti and Ranjan looking for Mowgli, and Mowgli kind of just trying to live simple jungle life with Baloo while deflecting and saying like he doesn't want to be found by Shanti and Ranjan, when he definitely did. So it was a lot of that, and by 44 minutes, like just over halfway, I was like, okay, like it's time to progress. Like someone needs to find someone or something needs to happen, because this is getting a little boring. And soon after that, it did. It picked back up again once Shanti and Mowgli found each other. And then from there on, it got back to a good pace, and I wasn't bored anymore, and I was pretty glued to it from that point on. But it did get a little, like, just a little bit boring right there in the middle, which I was like, oh no, I'm starting to get bored a little bit. I'm kind of like, okay, when is it gonna keep going? And then it did save itself right there, but it could have just been a little bit shorter, I think. Jungle Rhythm is a bop. I actually really like that song, and then the little reprise Mowgli does in the tree was so sweet. It gave me One Jump Ahead reprise feels, where Aladdin sings riff rap, street rap, I don't buy that. It gave me the same feel. But Wild, the like W-I-I-L-D song that Baloo sings with everyone, I didn't like as much. I think that doesn't have anything on I Want to Be Like You or some bare necessities or anything like that. But Jungle Rhythm, I liked Jungle Rhythm. This wasn't nearly as badly written as I expected, or as bad as I expected it to be. I think I was expecting it. Even Hunchback 2 wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. A lot of these direct-to-video sequels, I've heard some things about that are really bad, or like, the critics are like, yo, this is horrible, but it's not as bad as I expect it to be. The animation, as I already mentioned, was stunning, but the story isn't that bad, especially this one. Like, I could get where people for Hunchback 2 are mad because now he's like finding a love interest and they're like, ugh, the whole point was like, you know, in the first one, that was the whole point and everything. Where in this one, I kind of liked exploring the tear that Mowgli would feel between seeing his friends from the jungle that helped raise him and wanting to be with people of his own kind. Like, I thought it was interesting seeing that, like, seeing Mowgli torn between the two. And I, like, toward the end, I was starting to be like, yo, are they not going to let him have both? Because I thought he was going to have both. Because I was like, why on earth would he have to choose one? That's garbage. He was raised in the jungle. And I really thought they were, like, starting to, like, go that way. Like, he's gonna have to choose one or the other. And I was like, that's stupid. Like, I was about to be really mad at the movie. And I was pleasantly happy that he ended up having to have both. But I loved seeing, like, him feel that pull either direction. Because he wants to be with Shanti and Ranjan and, like, his new little family. But, like, he misses Baloo and Bagheera and his wolf pack. So I loved that. I kind of really liked that. Haley Joel Osment? Guys, it's time to talk about it. It's time to talk about how many freaking movies he's been in. He was just in Hunchback as Zephyr. He's in this as Mowgli. He was in Country Bears. He was in other things before that, I'm pretty sure. And then right around this time, he's also, I mean, he still is currently, but he was at this time, Sora in Kingdom Hearts. He was like the Disney voice. I mean, he was the child actor, but like Disney scraped him up and put him in everything they possibly could. And like every time I read that he's in one of these movies, I'm like, oh my god, I thought he was doing a lot of live action acting with Sixth Sense, Pay It Forward, Secondhand, like all the movies he did live action. Like, to find out he was doing all these voices for Disney, I'm like, how did I not notice? Like, granted, I didn't watch Hunchback 2 or Jungle Book 2 until now, but I mean, he's still Sora in Kingdom Hearts, I'm like almost certain, and I just like, homeboy was out here doing the Disney voice work. I'm just like, okay, Haley Joel Osment, amazing. I love it. And then obviously we all know Emily Osment also gets into the Disney scene with Hannah Montana, but it's just like, my word, I had no idea he was in so many things as the voice. Like, it's crazy. So I know I mentioned this, but I was like getting heated when it started to feel truly like they were going to make him choose between the jungle and the village. And I was like, this is garbage. He grew up in the jungle. They can't make him turn his back on the jungle, but also like Baloo and Bagheera, which I knew they wouldn't have, but like he also can't turn his back on the village. Those are like his actual like people. And I was getting like really mad because it didn't feel like they were going to go like the direction where he gets both, because they did the whole like Baloo telling him to go scene, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're actually gonna do this. This is garbage. Like, I'm genuinely mad, and shame on these people for not letting him go in the jungle and see his friends and like all this kind of stuff. I was like getting genuine, like, I know I've said genuine 1,000 times, but I was like mad. That's how invested I was in the movie. But I was mad. And then the scene where Baloo was telling him to go, like, you should go and be with your, like, you know, your friends and your family, Shanti. I got emotional and I was like, oh my gosh, Baloo, we don't deserve you, Baloo, Papa Bear. And then I cried when the adopted dad, said he was sorry. Like, Mowgli was like, I'm sorry, you know, whatever. And the dad, instead of being like, oh, you know, you're good, I'm glad you're sorry, whatever, that when the dad said, no, I'm sorry, Mowgli, I should have known the jungle was part of who you are. And I would like, whoo, I was a mess. I cried. I was like, oh my god, yes. And then like you get both in the end. He gets like, they were playing and they're gonna go get the water, and he brings Shanti and Ranjan and a couple of the kids, and they go get to hang out with Baloo and Bagheera, and it makes my heart so happy. I was so happy with that. And then Shere Khan being trapped in that head thing with the vulture teasing him. That was really funny. I thought that was genuinely hilarious. But this movie got me good right there at the end. I was a little bored in the middle. I was like, this is good, but it's not great. And then right at the end, when the adopted dad said, no, I'm sorry, Mowgli, I should have known the jungle was part of you. Oh, took me. Ooh. That's everything I have for The Jungle Book 2. Way better than I expected it to be. I'd give it a watch, you guys, honestly. And I'm not a big Jungle Book fan. My final rating is 6 pitchers of water. Pitchers of water that you can balance on your head. Here, who needs things? Out of 10. It matches my shirt. That's so unintentional. Until next time. Oh, no. Our total movie on this. Fairy Death Toll and Cry Count are still the same. If you want to keep up with the movie you're watching when, follow me on Instagram and Twitter. You'll find out what movie you're watching when. I put out videos every Monday and Friday, sometimes Wednesday. Join Patreon. Buy merch. Until next time, comment, like, subscribe, but I'm not in charge of your life. You are, so do, and don't be Shere Khan about it. Oh my god, she did it. She's the champion. Unintentional.